I like to bring up my numbers. I brag about these a little bit, because I'm 68 years old. And like many of my listeners out there, I'm a baby boomer. And proof is in the pudding. I've been following this kind of diet, the Eat Like Lance plan, for a long time. And when I bring these numbers up, this is drug-free. No drugs for this. This is my lipid profile. I have 193 total cholesterol. It's total. Now, the total is a combination of LDL, HDL, and VLDL, very low density lipoprotein, which comes from triglycerides. I have an HDL, and this is the good stuff now, of 85. Now, you don't normally see that number in men, period. That high? Women, yes. Men, no. Triglycerides, 34. Blood sugar, 79. PSA for the guys, 0.12. And I'm 68. And I'm saying this because I'm telling you this stuff because I want you to know that you have hope for you too. And the only thing that's going to do this is getting on a diet, the right kind, and sticking on it. And this is where people struggle. So putting my show together, I'm pulling up these news stories, particularly about the overdosing on the Ozempic. And I get this influencer says she almost died after Ozempic overdose despite bid to lose weight. Now listen to this. This supports exactly what I said earlier in my show. This is all out of desperation. This is trying to find ways to lose weight quicker, easier. She says, an Australian public relations specialist and online influencer admits she overdosed on a diabetic drug as she attempted to lose weight. The KNews.com reported earlier this year on the potential dangers involved using Ozempic. Now comes a case in someone who used it improperly. See? That wasn't accidental. Roxy Jazenko says she gained 33 pounds while taking the cancer medication tamoxifen. A strict diet and exercise did not bring any weight loss. I guarantee she didn't follow it. I thought I am reading and hearing about Ozempic all the time. I am trying it, Jazenko said. But her doctors refused to give her a prescription for it. For one thing, Ozempic is not approved in Australia for weight loss. So Jazenka, 43, said she wound up paying $2,500 for the drug in Nawa, a town in southern New South Wales. She could afford it, as she recently sold her Sydney mansion for $16 million. But she says she was so desperate to lose weight that she became like a junkie with the medicine. Here we go. I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel confident. I couldn't even put my jeans on. I couldn't wait, she said. There we go. At one point, she injected 4 Ozempic doses at one time. There we go. That led to vomiting, shaking, similar to epilepsy. It became so bad that she called on an ambulance. She thought she might die. I have had cancer, radiation treatment, all of that. It doesn't even compare to how bad I felt when I took this drug. The Perth Now website quoted her as saying, but she survived. She shared her story with the Sydney Daily Telegraph, okay, in hopes that others wouldn't repeat this. If there's one thing about me, I own it. And if this lesson is to anyone trying to get it, then great. It is not worth the ramification, she said. Ozempic is not for weight loss. The medication's website said its main purpose is to help people with type 2 diabetes. That's what it's for. But the driving force behind the pharmaceutical company, I'm adding this now, is money. $2,500 for a month? See the desperation? Millions and millions of people out there desperate to lose weight will do anything and come up with that money to buy a medication to make them try to stick on a program, a diet, to lose weight. But they can't take it forever. And when the weight stops, the desperation sets in like hers did to take more. That's not accidental. That's deliberate. So the only way to make these changes is to understand how our body makes fat and how Ozempic and drugs like that actually work. it does a number of different things. One, it makes insulin work better. When a person is insulin resistant, and most people that are overweight are, look at the belly. If you're accumulating lots of belly fat, you are. Your body overproduces insulin to keep blood sugar down within a tight range. And that extra insulin to keep blood sugar down is making and converting that sugar, that glucose, from carbohydrates into fat to be stored in fat cells. And because that insulin is elevated, you don't burn fat. But because it's interrupting with the metabolic system, the body thinks it's actually deficient in glucose, and a counter hormone from the pancreas called glucagon from the alpha cells is released to open up the liver and let sugar back out, glucose, carbohydrates, into the blood. And here we go again. More insulin's put out by the pancreas to bring it back down. No burning fat, more fat making. What drugs like Ozempic do is to take that glucagon-like peptide 1 agonist that's produced by the intestines to be released, which then makes insulin work better and inhibits the pancreas from releasing that glucagon to let extra sugar out. Now, when all this happens, when all this is going on, it actually ties it down into the appetite, because gastric emptying slows down, which means you digest slower. And so less of this is being released into the bloodstream, subsequently keeping blood sugar more under control, allowing you then to burn fat for fuel and control the appetite. But now you're messing around with the whole metabolic system. And some of the side effects, this lady was describing it. Gastroparesis, paralysis of the gut, literally. To slow digestion down, literally. Pancreatitis, increased risk of thyroid cancer. Yes, from medication for diabetes that people are using for weight loss. And the only thing that can solve this problem is to understand how the body works. And once you get your diet honed in, your appetite is under control. You're not craving like you did before because your blood sugar is more stable. In my case, I only eat 2 meals a day. I have for a long time, except for maybe Saturday where I'll have some tuna at lunchtime. But the rest of the time, it's breakfast and dinner. That's it, along with my exercise and training people. And there's no drug that's going to substitute for that. And right here, with the side effects, 1,500% increase in calls to the poison center from overdosing on a drug that's injectable. I mean, you tell me you forgot you took the injection earlier. No, give me a break. You're lying. Diet and exercise. That's why we'll tell you on the information I have in front of me. They recommend you do diet. You need to diet and exercise with this. Yeah, you can't get around it. But people, generally speaking, they had bad habits and they're lazy. Human nature makes us lazy. That's how life is. What did our ancestors do? They didn't go to a gym. They worked in the fields or they were hunting. Otherwise, they couldn't survive because they didn't have any food. In the time after they harvested or they went hunting and brought the food together to the family and gathered around, they rested in between and then they went back out again. We don't have that today. We can get food anywhere.